The city of Buffalo, while known for its snowstorms, is also the second largest city in New York State. The city had a great industrial heritage, but like so many other communities, hard economic times has led to the closure of many of these facilities. The communities left behind when the industries moved out were left with reduced employment, diminished living environments, and associated health and socioeconomic problems. One such neighborhood is the Commodore Perry community, a working-class neighborhood just east of downtown and north of the Buffalo River. The New York Department of Health and ATSDR partnered with the University of Buffalo, which has a grant from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development, and the Buffalo Municipal Housing Authority to prepare a redevelopment plan for the neighborhood. The university established a community center in the neighborhood that is used to make sure that the community is part of this planning process. The center has a library, an endless suggestion wall, and a computer lab. It also provides computer resources, training, and internet access to community members who might not otherwise have access to a computer. Dr. Henry Louis Taylor, Jr., a professor of urban and regional planning at the University of Buffalo, has been involved with this project since its very beginning.
The purpose of this project, the BMHA HUD Perry Choice Neighborhood Revitalization Strategy, is to turn this community into a great place to live, work, play, and raise a family. The idea is to transform a neighborhood of poverty, distress, and underdevelopment into a community of prosperity where the neighborhood actually serves as a platform that will enable the residents to realize their full human potential. But before I tell you more about the project, what I'd like to do is give you a brief history of Buffalo and the setting in which this community is located. Buffalo, New York is one of those big-shouldered industrial cities that served as the backbone of American society. It was a city that came into prominence with the emergence of the Erie Canal and the industrialization of this country. That was then, this is now. Today, Buffalo's economy is now driven by education, the health sciences, professional services, hospitality, and tourism. At this point, let me take you on into the other part of the center, and especially in our war room where our computers and computer operations are located. Come on. This is our war room. Now we call it the war room because we believe that our neighborhood and the community, we're at war with poverty. We're at war with underdevelopment and distress that's in this location at place. We're at war with environmental degradation. We are at war with all of the problems and difficulties that keep residents from realizing their full human potential and being the very best that they can be. So this is where our computer operations occur and where we're involved in a lot of the day-to-day work that's required to develop this project. Now it's open to the community, and we want it open to the community and residents to use it, including students, because it's important that they have access to knowledge and information, that they are able to utilize these resources in the development of their own neighborhood and in the enhancement and bolstering of their own lives. And one of the things that the residents told us early on in the planning of this process is that there was very little computer access in this neighborhood, in this community, and that many of the residents themselves did not own computers. So one of the ways that we were going to be able to link them to the world of information and knowledge and other resources that are electronic and digital was through our computing systems. Now let me introduce you to Jeff Kajawa, the Assistant Director of the Center for Urban Studies. And I want Jeff to show you a little bit about some of the interactive mapping schemes that we've been in the process of developing with DOH as a way of enhancing and improving our abilities to provide services for the residents that are living in this area. Jeff?
I'd like to walk you through a tool that the New York State Department of Health developed for the Buffalo Municipal Housing Authority Perry Choice Neighborhood Planning Initiative. This is a supportive service provider map that residents can come to the P&I Center here and sit down and use in order to find any services or any locations that they need throughout the neighborhood. Through our needs assessment process and through our focus group sessions, we found that residents either weren't knowledgeable of the services that were located in the area, or they weren't aware that certain services were nearby that they could access. So the New York State Department of Health put together this map where people literally, as long as you can use a mouse, can point and click and find whether it's a business, whether it's a service provider, or whether it is a needed service that they have in their lives. There's several ways that they can use this. They can literally, as I'm doing now, point to the icon, click on it, find out information on where it's located, its contact information, its website, but you can also search each provider by name. So if you literally know the name of the service provider that you would like to go to, these are alphabetical, and you can literally point and click to that place and it'll show it up right on the map. You hit the icon and you find the place that you need to go to. It's also easy to use because there's a button that is located right over here that gives you directions. So if you want to walk, if you want to drive, if you want to bike to whatever service provider you'd like to go to, you just click on which way you want to go, and it'll give you the detailed directions to find the place that you need to go to. You can also use this by zooming in on an address. So if you literally typed in South Park Avenue, where we are located nearby, and hit go, it'll bring you right to the location where you're at. So this is a tool that is very easy for residents to use. It's very useful because you're going to be able to find any community organization, any educational area, employment services, faith-based groups, and you can go to them and find them with one click of the mouse.
On average, we have anywhere from 50 to 60 residents a week that will use this facility. Their use ranges into about 3 or 4 different categories. On the one hand, we have residents who will come in and they just basically want to surf the internet, go on Facebook, check their email, and engage in just ongoing activities that are related to accessing information off the internet. On another level, we have residents who come in and they're trying to find a job. And so they will go online to the various sites where they can find out about employment information, or they can begin to actually fill out forms for employment or the like, or they can look up places where they can get job training and the like. We also have residents who will come in and use the computer just for email purposes. As most of us know, emailing is extraordinarily important, and especially in communities like this, because people often have trouble keeping the telephones on for economic reasons. And I say economic reasons, it's not unlike, it's about 50% of the families that live in the Perry Choice neighborhood pay 50% or more of their income on housing. So when you have that level of resources going to housing, it means that other things are going to suffer. So by accessing and establishing email addresses, this creates a systematic way in which these residents can communicate with others, get information about jobs and opportunities. It's a stabilizing force in their life. A big group of our users are kids. So you come in this place after 3:30, the world changes. And they use the facility both as a place to do homework, as a place to get on the computer to do research and work, and as a place just to get on here and use Facebook and interact with it through their friends and the like. Now, we established the Planning and Information Center and staff it with AmeriCorps workers. And this was important because this environment that we created here, we wanted to help generate and create a sense of trust and a sense that they had an advocate and a friend in the people who worked inside of this center. And for that reason, we also wanted it to be staffed by residents and also by students from the University at Buffalo, so that they could blend together these two different cultures and create the type of synergism that we believe would help create and construct and sustain this bridge between the community on the one hand and the planning conference on the other. Now, why is all of this important? All of this is important because if we want to change a community, if we want to create a community where people are prepared to meet the ongoing challenges of recreating and rebuilding their community, then the residents of that community must also change. And the only way that they can change is through the process of participating in the building and rebuilding of their community. So through the transformation of the place where they live, they also transform themselves. And the final piece is that the center gives them a sense that we're serious, and it gives them a place, a venue, where that they can participate on a regular basis in the transformation of their own communities.